can be surrounded by people, friends laughing, noise everywhere, and still feel completely alone. Why does that happen? Is something wrong with you, or is your brain wired this way? Loneliness is not about being alone. It is about feeling disconnected. And your brain treats that feeling exactly like physical pain. When you feel socially disconnected, your brain releases less dopamine, less joy, less motivation, less energy to connect. Chronic loneliness raises cortisol, your stress hormone. Your body stays in a state of quiet emergency, even when nothing is wrong. Your brain never stops asking one silent question in every room you enter. Do I belong here? And when the answer feels like no, loneliness appears instantly. When you feel isolated, a part of your brain called the default mode network becomes overactive. It pulls you inward, deeper into your own thoughts. Loneliness makes your brain exaggerate social threats. You may misread a neutral expression and feel rejected by someone who never intended to hurt you. Science has confirmed social rejection activates the exact same area of your brain as a physical burn. Emotional pain is real pain. Your brain remembers social pain longer than physical pain. A moment of rejection can replay for years long after the wound should have healed. Even surrounded by people, your brain can whisper, "You do not belong here." And in that moment, the crowd disappears, and you are alone. Loneliness weakens your brain's reward system over time. Things that once brought joy slowly stop feeling rewarding. The world becomes quieter, colder, flatter. Loneliness reduces your ability to regulate emotions. Small things feel bigger, minor comments feel like attacks, and you wonder why everything hurts more than it should. The longer you feel isolated, the harder it becomes to read people accurately. Loneliness slowly changes how you see the world around you. Fear of judgment makes you withdraw internally. You stay physically present, but emotionally you have already left the room, and nobody notices you are gone. Ever noticed, sometimes the louder the crowd, the deeper the loneliness? That is not coincidence. That is psychology. What if the problem is not the people around you, but the connection missing inside you? That question changes everything. You feel alone when you are not emotionally understood. Surface-level conversations create surface-level connections, and surface-level connections feel like nothing at all. You do not crave more people. You crave depth, real understanding, someone who sees past the surface and stays anyway. Emotional mismatch creates invisible distance. You can sit next to someone for hours and feel further from them than a stranger across the world. When you hide your true self to fit in, the connection you create is not real. It is a performance. And performing is exhausting and deeply lonely. Loneliness grows when you feel unseen. Being ignored hurts more than being rejected. At least rejection acknowledges you exist. You compare your inside to everyone else's outside, their highlight reel to your unfiltered reality. And in that comparison, you always lose. Emotional suppression leads to internal loneliness. When you cannot express what you truly feel, you become a stranger to the people around you. Overthinking blocks real connection. The more you analyze every word, every look, every silence, the further you drift from the moment in front of you. You can be physically present and emotionally completely absent. Your body sits at the table, but your heart left the room long ago. Fear of judgment makes you withdraw internally. You stay physically present, but emotionally you have already left, and nobody notices you are gone. Humans do not need attention. They need belonging. There is a profound difference, and most people never learn it. Social media creates an illusion of connection. More interactions do not mean deeper relationships. Sometimes more connections mean more loneliness. You feel lonelier in groups where you do not fit. And being different in a crowd does not just make you stand out, it makes you invisible. Introverts feel drained in crowds, not fulfilled. Social settings that energize others quietly exhaust them. and that exhaustion feels like loneliness. Here is the part nobody talks about. The loneliness you feel in a crowd is not about them. It is about the gap between who you show the world and who you actually are. Small talk creates distance for deep thinkers. When every conversation stays shallow, you stop trying to connect at all. People mirror your energy. When you feel closed, others sense it without knowing why, and slowly, they pull away, making the loneliness deeper. Lack of eye contact reduces oxytocin, your bonding hormone. Without it, connection never truly forms, even in the same room. You need emotional safety to feel connected. Without it, vulnerability feels impossible, and without vulnerability, connection stays forever shallow. Studies show loneliness is rising globally, especially in the United States. You are not alone in feeling alone. Millions feel exactly what you feel right now. Being in a crowd can actually increase your awareness of loneliness. The contrast makes your isolation feel stronger, louder, heavier. People with high empathy feel loneliness more deeply. They sense everything around them, yet struggle to feel truly seen themselves. Trauma can make connection feel unsafe. When you have been hurt before, your mind builds walls to protect you, even when protection is no longer needed. Loneliness can become a habit loop in the brain. You expect rejection, so you withdraw. Withdrawal brings more isolation, and isolation confirms the fear. The cycle continues. You may expect rejection before it even happens, so you pull back first. You protect yourself from a pain that was never coming. Sleep deprivation increases loneliness feelings. When you are exhausted, your brain struggles to read social signals, and the world feels colder than it actually is. Poor self-esteem blocks connection. When you do not believe you are worth knowing, you unconsciously push away the people who try to know you. You assume others do not care, often incorrectly. The people around you may be waiting for you to reach out, not knowing you are waiting for the same thing. Poor self-esteem blocks connection. When you do not believe you are worth knowing, you unconsciously push away the people who try to know you. You assume others do not care, often incorrectly. The people around you may be waiting for you to reach out, not knowing you are waiting for the same thing. Deep connection requires vulnerability, and vulnerability feels risky. But without it, you will never know what real connection actually feels like. You do not feel lonely because you are alone. You feel lonely because you are not truly connected. That distinction is everything. Loneliness decreases when even one real bond is present. Not 100 acquaintances, just one person who truly sees you. Quality of relationships matters far more than quantity. 500 people who barely know you cannot replace one person who truly does. The moment you allow yourself to be real, even slightly, something shifts. Connection becomes possible. Not guaranteed, but possible. Real connection does not happen by accident. It happens when two people decide, simultaneously, to stop pretending. The relationship you have with yourself determines the relationships you allow others to have with you. Heal that first and everything changes. Connection does not require perfection. It requires one small act of courage, one honest word, one real moment. That is enough to begin. You do not need everyone to understand you. You need your people, and your people exist. You simply have not found them yet. The next time you feel alone in a crowd, do not retreat further inside yourself. Try one small thing differently, a genuine smile, a real question, a moment of presence. Your brain is not broken. It is protecting you the only way it knows how. But protection and connection cannot exist in the same space. You must choose. Understanding why you feel lonely is the first step to feeling less lonely. Awareness does not fix everything, but it changes everything. Sometimes loneliness runs deeper than social skills or shyness. Sometimes it needs a safe space and a professional guide. Seeking help is not weakness. The most important connection you will ever build is the one with yourself. Everything else follows from there. Connection can happen anywhere, in a single glance, a shared laugh with a stranger, a moment where two people drop the act at exactly the same time. Science confirms what your heart already knows. Quality over quantity, depth over surface, vulnerability over performance. One real connection, one genuine friend, is worth more than 1,000 empty ones. That is the truth about loneliness. And now you know it too.